So Russell and myself have decided to row across the Atlantic Ocean, 3,500 nautical miles, and we're doing it for the purpose of raising $250,000 for local dementia charities. So my mother's got dementia, and I felt almost helpless when I was looking after her and watching my dad unconditionally look after her himself. So at that then we decided I need to do something locally to Mansfield. When you make it a mission to help people live with dementia and you want to make a significant difference to the local community, we have set our stall out to actually raise £250,000. To raise that type of money, you've got to do a standout challenge that's got the gravitas to make people think, wow, you're doing what? Take notice, and hopefully they'll contribute to the fundraising. We are setting out from Portugal on the 1st of December. We will probably take about 90 days to complete this challenge. So that means we're going to be away for Christmas, we're going to be away for the New Year, we'll be away for Russell's birthday on the 16th of January, and we'll be away for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it was about 2 years ago when George first asked me about doing it with him, and it was sort of overnight I thought about it, and it did seem like a good idea, yeah. A little bit nervous, excited, scared, all three emotions in one, so yeah, it should be good.
We have been training now for almost 2 years on indoor Concept 2 rowing machines, and we've started off just doing a few thousand metres. We've built that up to 10,000 metres, and then, you know, recently we've been doing an hour, even 2 hours. When we're actually on the boat, we're going to be doing 2 hours on and 2 hours off, and we'll be swapping. And at that then it's about making sure that we've got the stamina now to be able to do that for 90 days. On a typical day, we'll be rowing for 12 hours each. The boat itself we can set up 2 positions to row, and both of us can be rowing at the same time. But we've decided that to conserve energy and try and keep the boat going 24/7, we'll just have one rowing position. And each day, one person will be rowing for 12 hours, and then the other 12 hours that's left, you've got to catch a bit of sleep, you've got to do a bit of cooking, and you've got to do a bit of boat maintenance, because sure as eggs, things will break. So we're leaving from a little fishing village in Portugal called Sagres. It's at the furthermost southwestern tip of Portugal. We shall leave there on the 1st of December, and hopefully by Christmas we'll be going by the Canary Islands, and we're aiming for a little island in the Caribbean called St. Martin. Hopefully we will be there by the end of February. So we'll sleep in the forward cabin here. When we set off at first, because we'll be taking that much food and that with us, we'll actually be sleeping on top of food, and it's unlikely that both of us will be inside the same cabin. On the bottom of the boat, we've got a little cubby hole, and we've got some at the side here. They'll be full of ropes, equipment that we'll need for when we're out at sea, sea anchors and such like. If there's any spare room there, we'll be cramming whatever we can snack-wise in there. In the back, we'll have tools and when spare equipment. Any room that's left, we'll be putting a bit of food in the back, but predominantly the bulk of the food will be in the main cabin with us. So the food plan, we've got a 2-week rotating food plan whereby we won't be eating the same meal twice within a 2-week period, but every 2 weeks that'll rotate. So if there's anything we like, we've got 2 weeks to wait until we get it again. If there's anything we don't want, then at least we've got 2 weeks to wait. The food that we've got, it uses water. We're actually going to be drinking seawater. We've got an onboard pump that will suck the seawater out, it'll desalinate it, and that'll provide the water. The reason why we've got that is because with all the food, if we to take the equivalent water that we needed to survive each day, the boat would sink and we wouldn't even be able to set off from shore. So we're drinking seawater, and we're putting it into, essentially, we're putting it into freeze-dried meals. Like this is a nice spaghetti bolognese, 800 calories. So what we're aiming to do is we're aiming to have 5,000 calories each day, food-wise, and then we'll have snacks on top. So it could be somewhere in the region of 5,500 calories that we're eating each day. The conditions that we expect to come across will be, there'll be days whenever it will be flat calm seas. It'll be actually quite warm, even though it's going to be winter in the UK and you're probably going to get a bit of frost and snow here. Where we'll be is we'll have the problem of actually being out in the baking hot sunshine. It'll be 30 odd degrees. We'll be on flat calm seas and we'll be rowing away with no shade. On them days it'll be absolutely wonderful being at sea, other than it being physically hot and challenging. At night we'll have clear skies, we'll see shooting stars, distant galaxies, and we'll see a whole load of wildlife. Conversely, on the challenging days, we'll see winds 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, and they'll whip up sea conditions to about maybe 8, 10, 12 metre high waves, and in which case, when we're actually rowing, it'll be impossible to row in them conditions. Both of us will be in the cabin taking shelter. Now, when we're in situations like that, if the wind blows and catches the side of the boat, it'll literally roll us over into the swells and the waves that's out on the Atlantic. So what we've got is we've got a parachute anchor, and essentially that parachute anchor means that we can throw this parachute out into the water, and because the body of water is actually going slower than the wind, it'll help to slow the boat down, it'll turn the bow into the wind, and will help to basically ride up and over the waves. And in that situation, it's less likely that we will capsize. So worst case scenario, yes, we've got a life raft on board, it's got all the usual rations in it, and it's even got a bit of fishing line and some mackerel feathers. See if we could probably catch some fish. But we've got electronic safety beacons, whereas if we push the emergency button, that'll send a signal via satellite to the UK Coast Guard. It'll put them on alert that we're in danger, and they'll get the nearest ship to come and hopefully rescue us. Every question that we've got about health and safety, what could go wrong, we've tried to cover that in our minds to make sure if it does go wrong, how can we fix it and how can we survive? I'm really looking forward to seeing the wildlife at sea. We'll come across, you may have heard, orca whales attacking boats just off Portugal and throughout the Straits of Gibraltar. So there's every likelihood we could come across orca whales. We'll see minke whales, dolphins, leatherback turtles, and all sorts of fish, marlin and tuna, which will be great to see in its own natural habitat. Some of the stuff that I'm not looking forward to seeing is actually sharks. I was part of the Jaws generation when I was a child, and it doesn't matter what type of shark it is, what size it is, I think they all want to come and eat me, so I'm not looking forward to seeing sharks. If we come across a great white shark, it will be towards the Caribbean, in which case there'll be certainly no swimming. Nobody will be throwing anything in the water, not even their toes, and we'll just have to be aware that they could be in the vicinity, and if somebody does go for a little dip, somebody else is looking out just to make sure there's nothing about. So as of today, we've raised £13,000, and that's rising quite rapidly, and the aim is, by the time we get back, to have £250,000. If people go onto our website, www.orblimey.co.uk, you can donate on there. If people want to follow us across the Atlantic, if you go onto the website, there'll be an atlas up where it'll be able to show you the starting point and the finish point and where we are at any given time, so you'll be able to follow us en route right through the journey.